Hey vinyl community, I wanted to do something a little different today. I'm going to call it a 2 for Tuesday, and you know, I had pulled out a bunch of albums to show a good friend of mine a couple of days ago, and I had two kind of cool bootlegs. One's Metallica and one's Megadeth. They're both from the early days. Here, let me grab the records and we can start this off. Okay, so the first one is a Megadeth bootleg from, I'm going to guess 1984, and it's called Fuck the Beast. It's Chris Poland on guitar, you've got Garth Samuelson on drums, Dave Ellefson on bass, and then of course Mustaine guitar and vocals. Kind of an interesting back cover, which is where they actually got the title for the record. This is a Richard Corbin cartoon strip, probably from Creepy or Eerie, I would guess, like a horror comic book from back in the day. But anyway, you can see in the top panel it says "Fuck the Beast," so they didn't go too far to get the title. It's a cool album. I mean, now I listened to them both this morning before I did this, just to kind of get my sort of bearings on them. It's been a while. You know, with YouTube now and 1080 DPI bootlegs of people recording stuff, you know, the old bootleg albums where someone snuck a tape recorder into a show, you know, they don't sound as good as the stuff that we're getting now. But the upside of these is this is a time period where, you know, you're not going to have that stuff to go back to. So anyway, this basically covers, I'm guessing this is right before Peace Sells. The show is live at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, and Dave says in one of the songs that it's their first time there. He also talks about the crowd spitting at him, and he goes, you know, I don't know who would pay to go to see a show and spit at the band when you could buy like food to put in your belly. But you know, if you've seen enough bootlegs of live shows in different places, it's not uncommon for the bands to get spit at, stuff thrown at them pretty mercilessly. Okay, so the packaging on this is real bare bones. Just a white label, both sides. I actually wrote as a kid the track titles down just because it was kind of confusing when I would break it out. So anyway, these are the tracks on this one. They open with Mechanics, or actually they open with Bad Omen, then they go into Killing Is My Business, then they do Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, These Boots, and Devil's Island. So the first side has got some really good songs. I mean, Bad Omen has always been one of my favorite songs off of Peace Sells. Killing Is My Business is awesome. Then side 2 is Mechanics, which you guys probably will know as a Metallica song, completely different lyrics, Four Horsemen. Then they did Last Rites, Love to Death, and then Good Morning Black Friday, which is a really, really kick-ass song off of Peace Sells. So that's that one. So yeah, Fuck the Beast. You can find it on eBay. I actually looked both of these up a few nights ago when I had pulled them out just to kind of see what their value was and how scarce they are. They're out there. You know, I wouldn't go probably over like 25 bucks for this unless you're a real hardcore Megadeth fan. It's cool. You know, I'm really glad I have it. I don't think I would ever sell it, but you know, again, I wouldn't spend like 65 or 85 bucks on this thing. But you know, it all depends on what it means to you. But it is cool, and it's a little slice of history. Okay, so the next one is actually really cool. This is a Metallica bootleg, and the cover on this thing is awesome. I mean, like, I actually can't overstate that before I show you this. This is called Terror Incognito, okay, and I remember when I saw this, I was like, holy shit balls. Like, this cover is fucking badass, man. Like, this should be like a real cover for a Metallica album. This thing is amazing. Like, I don't know actually who did the art, but I'm guessing probably the piece wasn't originally done for this record and they just maybe swiped it. But who knows, maybe it was actually done for this, but this is just badass. So yeah, this is called Terror Incognito, Metallica Live. Great, great early shot of James. This would be on the Ride the Lightning tour, and this show is in Canada, and it's Cliff Burton. Okay, so Cliff Burton. The track listings on this are the intro, which is Ecstasy of Gold. I was actually surprised when I listened to this that they actually were coming out to the song that long ago. I don't know why, but I had kind of forgotten that they've done it for so long, and I almost thought it was more of a, you know, like the last 10 years, but I was checking out some clips on YouTube before I did this tape, and they were using it on even the Master of Puppets tour. So anyway, but yeah, so this has got Fight Fire with Fire on it, Ride the Lightning, Phantom Lord. The bass solo opens up the second side. This is actually a double album too. This is not bad. I mean, the packaging, it's actually got like legit labels. It's, I guess, Shogun Records. But you know, they actually took the time to print out the labels. It's funny that they have like copyrights on them. I mean, it's a bootleg. I don't know what they're copywriting. Anyway, okay, so yeah, so side 2 starts off with the bass solo, For Whom the Bell Tolls, No Remorse. Then you've got Call of Cthulhu and Seek and Destroy, or side 3. And then the final last 2 songs are Whiplash and Creeping Death. And this thing is really cool. I mean, I would probably go 45 or 50 bucks on this thing if you can find it. I mean, again, just the cover alone, it's just so cool. I mean, you flip through your Metallica albums, and this guy is sitting in there. I mean, this thing is cool. It would be a great poster. You know, I don't know. I'm really proud to own this one. Let's see, what else was I going to say? I picked up both of these. My guess would be probably in the late 80s. You know, really hard to find this stuff. I mean, you'd maybe once a year stumble across like a Metallica bootleg like this. At the main shop where I got most of my bootlegs was a place called Off the Record up by San Diego State College. And I guess I could share some Metallica, like, I guess, live show experiences. I kind of have been throwing that in most of my clips. So, the first time I saw Metallica was opening for Ozzy. They were touring for Master of Puppets. I barely even remember the show. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those nights where it's kind of like, I know I was there, but I don't remember anything from it. Wonder why. But I saw them at Monsters of Rock, and it was right before And Justice for All came out. I saw them up in LA at the Coliseum. So the bill was Kingdom Come, Dokken, Scorpions, Metallica. Actually, Metallica played before the Scorpions. So Metallica, Scorpions, and then Van Halen. Oh, I forget someone. I'm kind of spacing out. Anyway, I mean, like, Van Halen was the headliner, and Metallica was awesome. I mean, the crowd went crazy. They had put floor seats down that were like folding chairs. So there's, you know, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 folding chairs down there. They're loose chairs. They're not attached to anything, okay? So, like, the first song into the Metallica set, like, the crowd goes freaking crazy. They're throwing chairs everywhere. I mean, these chairs are flying. They're taking out people. I mean, people are getting dragged out. And I'm watching this from basically, like, lower level. So I'm not, like, very far up. I'm just basically, like, the first set of bleachers up. And I was on, like, the left side of the stage. And, I mean, it looked like a war zone. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that at a show just because it was so... It wasn't that it was so violent, because I've seen Slayer and some pretty crazy pits. But just the fact that they were throwing chairs and, like, knocking people out. So after the second song, they had this great idea of, hey, pass all the chairs up to the front of the stage and we'll take them out. And if anyone was at the show, that was a big fucking mistake, because you've got, you know, I don't know, there must have been probably 5,000 people on the floor. The Coliseum in LA holds, I think, 100,000 people, so it was a big, big venue. So you've got like 5,000 people now throwing lawn chairs up to the floor because they've asked to send them all up. And anyway, but the Metallica set was great, and they actually did one song off of And Justice for All, which they said, hey, you know, do you want to hear a new track? And it was Harvester of Sorrow. And it really stood out. I mean, it was one of those things where you would remember it. Like, when the album came out, I was like, this is the song that they played. It was badass. And I was actually lucky enough to see them also on the very, very last show of the And Justice for All tour at Irvine Meadows. And that's a much smaller venue. I don't know what Irvine holds. I guess maybe 7,000 people, 5,000 to 7,000 people. It's like an amphitheater built on like a grass hill. So you've got built-in seats, and then above is a grass level. Again, kind of a mess. The grass level, it was a slope like this. And of course, what happens when Metallica plays, the guys are doing a pit. So they're running up the hill. But the thing is they can run down the hill and take people out. So that was crazy, because it's like, you know, these guys just charging down the hill and fucking taking out the people at the bottom of the pit, like on this part. It was insane. And Faith No More opened up for them at that show. And what was kind of interesting about that is the crowd hated Faith No More. I mean, it was like the only song they had out was Epic, or whatever, You Want It All But You Can't Have It. And I'm actually a big Faith No More fan. But yeah, so that was the only song that, or maybe it's The Real Thing is named that track. I think it's Epic. Anyway, but so the crowd hated them. They were just booing them and booing them. I knew, though, because I had the album, that they did a cover of War Pigs that was actually very good, and so it was interesting. So they got booed for 45 minutes, and Mike was talking shit to the crowd. And, I mean, I get it. Faith No More, their catalog is, like, so bizarre. You know, it's, like, hip-hop, and it's reggae, and it's keyboards, and it's all over the map. But the last song they played was War Pigs, and I'll tell you what, man. The crowd did a 180, and they were cheering, and they loved it. So it's kind of cool. It was nice to see them land on their feet after a really, really brutal show. And you know, they're from Frisco, so they, you know, Jim Martin, I think, had been friends with at least James and probably Lars for a long time before the whole Faith No More thing took off. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so anyway, you've got Terror Incognito, which is really, really kick-ass. This is Ride the Lightning Tour, so probably 1985. Cliff Burton on bass. You've got Anesthesia, you know, pulling teeth on it. And then the other one is Megadeth, Fuck the Beast. And if you guys have other Metallica or Megadeth bootlegs on vinyl, definitely post a link, do a video, and share them. I'd like to see what else you guys have out there. Okay, so add a subscription if you haven't already, and I might try to do this like every other week, do like a 2 for Tuesday where I pull out you know, 2 kind of like bands that relate to each other, and somehow maybe the records tie into each other. You know, being a fan of music for as long as I have a lot of useless information about stuff. So anyway, I like to share it and talk about it. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later.